Hey, Mrparka here to review one called UpsideDown Cross. I saw this and it kind of piqued my interest, so yeah, why not? Has a reversible cover and a little comic in here, which is pretty cool. It's by a guy named William Hellfire. I had not seen any of his films. This might actually be his first feature-length directed movie. The film follows a kind of prostitute heroin addict who's forced to move back in with her overly religious mother, and soon enough her mother thinks she's possessed by the devil, so she kind of calls in this bizarre priest that she saw a hotline on television. It has this interesting element that the mother is basically struggling. They're going to lose the house, and it has a nice aspect in here that the daughter's not actually possessed, which creates kind of an actual horror story, and people being naive or believing in old rituals and people being possessed and that kind of stuff. There's so many possession movies out there. The idea that the person actually isn't possessed, or at least it's presented for most of the movie that she's not possessed. I don't want to give anything away. But yeah, I like the concept a lot. I thought it was kind of a cool idea. The way it played out, I felt that I wanted kind of more. The movie really only has three main characters: the daughter, the mother, and the priest, none of which are necessarily likable people, but they do have a fair amount of realism to them. The acting kind of ranges. I think that the mother does the strongest part, actually. So yeah, there's that. But I think that the last 20 minutes is when the film starts to pick up and kind of get intense, but by then it's pretty much over. I think that there's a lot of scenes of dialogue that are just they tend to almost repeat themselves a lot. I'm sure that's the intent of the filmmaker, but like I said, I love the concept that it's just this kind of bleak real life kind of horror story that you could actually see happening, and the idea of these two kind of people with these two problems kind of meeting, and the mother and the daughter, they both have their obvious negatives to them, and it kind of creates like a perfect storm of insanity to take place. The priest character is very despicable person, if you ask me. He is complex and obviously tortured and has his own demons, and it's just very despicable. Like I said, all the characters in the film are not really people you want to latch onto and root for, and the idea of a heroin addict having to go through withdrawal and try to get better and have this whole thing happen to them is pretty bleak, to be honest. So yeah, that's UpsideDown Cross. The concept's great. The music in the film I really like. And the opening I thought had a lot of cool stuff going on. And then pretty much about the 15-minute mark, we end up in this single location, which is not usually a bad thing for me, but end up in a single location with lots and lots of dialogue that seems to me to be kind of repetitive in points. But yeah, it's more of a kind of emotional drama here, which definitely kind of is poking holes in some overly religious people's beliefs at times in here. About, the believing in possession and demonic possession, and just having faith in the wrong people of the church. But that is UpsideDown Cross. It might interest some people. I think that it might be worth checking out if you're into like independent kind of screwed up dramas. For me, I wanted to really like the movie. Like I said, I enjoyed the soundtrack. I loved the setup, but it fell a little flat for me. But that's just my personal preference. I think some people will enjoy this one. To be honest, it was cool. I saw some familiar faces in here. Victor Bonacor's in it, who I love. He's an awesome dude. And Johnny Dickey did the special effects. Jimmy Screamer Claus was involved with it. So yeah, a lot of the stuff and a lot of the people involved seem really cool, and I like their idea and their concept. It's just I'm not necessarily super thrilled about the movie itself. But I'm Mrparka. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.
I will take you down, down, down to the river so blue, and I will make Lord Jesus take the devil from you. When you find yourself crying and feeling so alone, thinking only of desire.
So what led you to believe that your daughter's actually possessed?
She sees things.
Sees things?
Yeah. She sees a man in her room when the lights go off. She told me the walls were bleeding.
Go on.
She told me she's in league with the devil.
See, a bruise will heal. But if you let the devil rest, he'll build up his strength and strike again.
From you. If you've led a life of evil under Satan's
You know you can blow holes in your soul, don't you?
coming to
You take drugs, don't you? You have sex for money? You're cutting a new doorway every day for some odd, demented, mutant byproduct of paradise to just slither into. You want to wash away all that humiliation and hurt. Be fresh and new and clean again.
to the river so blue, and I will make Lord Jesus take the devil